Hello and welcome, it's Ruth here at Artful Stamping, and it's another Stampin' Sunday blog hop. It's the third Sunday of the month, so we're here to give you lots of ideas, and we is the team, the Stampin' Sunday blog hop team. Please do go click on my blog link and that will take you to the post and then also the list of other hoppers. So please do go and grab a cup of tea and go and have fun looking at the other inspiration. So today's projects are to make something gift related. So the theme is gorgeous gifts, and we've been asked to either make a gift or to decorate, make nice, embellish, or make a tag or something gift related. So I went shopping today and picked up these little goodies. Now some of them actually came from charity shops, so just to flag up charity shops, I love them. You can pick up some really cool, actually brand new items sometimes from from charity shops. And for those friends who love stationery, I thought that would be fabulous. I got a lovely hair scrunchie that it looks like someone's actually handmade that, and it was in a basket. And then I've got some chocolate, so a drink, and also some candles, which I purchased in this pack, but I'm planning to wrap them separately and see what happens. Now, initially, I wanted to revisit a pouch that I made a number of years ago. I can't remember if it was the Stampin' Sunday blog hop I did it with. It may have been, or it may have been something else. But the idea is to make a stuffed envelope. And so here I have the fabulous papers that I've not played with before. They are the Woven Textures Designer Series paper. And I love this one because it looks like a basket. So I'm hoping to actually make my little pouch look like a gift basket. So I'm thinking what I need to do is have basically different pockets of a pouch. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut this down to 8 inches and then do some folding with 2 sheets and then be able to pop in my little flat goodies into there. So I'm going to grab my trimmer, and rather than just cutting off 4 inches here, I actually want to get the middle of this basket so that it kind of looks symmetrical. Excuse me. So 12 minus 8 is 4 inches, and 4 divided by 2 is 2 inches. So I need to cut 2 inches off the side of this DSP. So I don't even know why I opened my arm. I don't actually need it open. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to cut 2 inches off the left hand side, rotate and cut 2 inches off the right, and those strips are not going to go to waste. I probably will use them to decorate either the candle or the pouch. We'll see how it goes. So the reason I cut it at 8 inches is so that we get an inch either side. And I think if I score at 1 inch, like so, rotate, and then 1 inch again, this will just help me get going. All right, so I'm going to fold the edges. And then I am going to, actually, I think I don't want that folded in. Yes, I think I do. And then the plan is to fold the bottom up a little bit because I want my whole pouch to be able to sit with a little bit of a lip at the top. I want that whole package to be able to sit like so. So I'm going to fold that over where I think will work, and I'll just double check that. Oh my goodness, that's almost exactly 2 inches. So there we go, 2 inches. So if you want to make it like mine, fold it up 2 inches at the bottom. Then with my second sheet, I want this to sit not quite to the top, but partially. So I'm going to fold that over. So I'm guessing this will be approximately 4 inches here, and this should be about 8 inches. So let's have a look at that. Oh, it's just a little bit more. It's 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches. Now I need to decide which pattern do I want showing. Actually, I quite like it. It's alternated that way, so that's quite fun. Okay, so I like the way that this is sitting. It's got the folded sections on the inside, so all I have to do is actually just stick those down. But what I want is for these to be reversed and to stick onto this section here. So I am going to do a little bit of a cut. So that onto there, that one's fine. So I'm just going to do a small cut on the edge here, and a small cut from here, from the score mark, and that will allow me to be able to fold back that panel, and then have that panel sit there like so. And then what I need to do is just mark here where I need to cut that, trim off that section. I'll just get a score tool to do that, and do that at the top and the bottom. So I'm using my grid paper to line that up, just so that I can put a mark. I only grabbed that because I couldn't grab my pencil. I couldn't find it, but now I've spotted it. So let's get the pencil out and do that instead. All right, so I'm going to just do a mark there and a mark there. So I do like the idea of this because it means that you can, you know, purchase lots of little useful gifts and group them together. When I spotted that boba drink kit, I was trying to get the colours to match, you know, similar colours, but I'm not sure if that's worked. But either way, we can make it all look cohesive by using this paper to pull the ideas together. So this could be used for any type of gift giving, and it's just a fun way of grouping things together using some DSP. And those of us who love crafting have probably got a bit of a stash of DSP that we can call upon. For those of you who are not used to the Stampin' Up terminology, DSP is basically scrapbooking paper, 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper. All right, there we go. So you can see how the construction is coming along. So I'm going to stick those two flaps down, those two flaps, and then these flaps together here. And actually, before I do that, now I've put down my scissors and not realised where I put them. Oh, there they are. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is just trim off these little sections at the top and this one here, and then I'll come back to you. So I wanted to show you where I was going to put, I've put the tear and tape. So I've put it along the longer outer section and that first flap at the front. I just put it all the way down because that's going to fold over onto this section here, which I put some tear and tape along those two flaps, and then nothing here because it's actually adhering to this section here, so it doesn't need it. So that's how it's all going to sit together. So I'll start off by just removing these two strips of paper, getting this ready, and popping. Actually, no, I'm going to do this first. I've just realised, because once that's set in, I'm not going to be able to reach these. So no, do the central section first. There we go. That's easier. So just fold that up to meet that. Let's do that. Give it a good rub. Make sure it's all nicely adhered, and then you're going to, probably easier to fold that over like you see me doing, and line it up like, oh no, this is where I wish I wasn't, nobody was watching me, but I know you, all you lot are watching me. So I'm having to hold that flap that's wanting to come down. I'm having to hold it together, so make sure you do that as you just to line it up. And there we go. And then fold that one over. All right, so here we've got the main structure, and now we can decorate, put our gifts in. So got that one going in there. Now that actually does give more space there because we've stuck those panels together. So if you wanted to put more in, you could do. Or if you wanted to put that one in there, that can go in there. But anyway, my plan for this was for that to go in there. Let me just flatten this out a little bit because I can feel it. There we go, that's a bit better. So that can go in there. I'm still going to decorate these yet. Maybe that one in there, and then maybe that in a little pouch there. But this one I'm thinking of putting in a separate little, its own little pouch. Right, first of all though, I want to decorate my some of my chocolates and things and put those into separate pouches. And I did think, what about using some of that gorgeous new 12 by 12 vellum that we've got? So we have the gorgeous thick vellum back in stock, but what can be quite fun to do is actually use an embossing folder with it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this into strips and emboss it and then see how it looks on the gifts. So I'm using the Perfectly Plaid embossing folder, and it's a 3D one, and it measures about 6 by, I think it's 9 inches. So what I've done is I've cut the vellum into 6-inch strips. I've kept the whole 12 inches, but cut it into 6-inch strips, and I've embossed one section. So of course I've got a little section here unembossed. Well, if you reverse the piece of paper or vellum, whatever it is that you're embossing, and pop it back into the embossing folder, you'll find that the lines pretty much align quite well, and you can just carry on embossing, and just there's a small overlap just at the top there, and you can put it in and carry on. Now vellum is prone to a little bit of splitting, but get it through, and hopefully when you use it on your project it won't matter too much. So if I just show you what that looks like. There we go. You can sort of see a little bit the link there, but not too much. And yeah, I've split already a little bit, but we're just using it for decorating, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Right, so the plan is to wrap my chocolate in one of those vellums, but also I thought it would be nice to wrap my boba tea. So I'm just getting a piece of tissue to do that, and see if I can wrap it so that it goes round twice on the front before putting on my piece of vellum. There we go. I'll just wrap that up like a typical gift. Although I think I need some tape. Okay, I'll be back. I've decided to use one of the Stampin' Up stickers us demonstrators are able to purchase to put on gifts. So that will hold it in place while I fiddle around with this. And I've just remembered I wanted to use some really cool trim. So I'm just going to pop that upside down for a second. And then slip this around it. I'm wondering if it's going to reach my folds. Maybe not. Let's have a see. Might work. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to have to stick that down with another sticker. That looks cool like that. And the other thing I wanted to use was a piece of this piece of DSP, because I've got this fabulous trim to use. And so I think I might just cut that into a strip I'll just cut that shorter and then also put some of that. There we go, that's all wrapped and tied, looking good. So I'm going to do the same again with the chocolate. So just going to fold that. Oh, it's naturally wanting to fold there. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Take that over. I'm wondering if I can actually quite easily tear it, because no, don't do that because it might tear wrong. Okay, let's just go with that. And this time I have got a piece of leftover piece of this paper. So I'll use that to decorate this time. So I just put a little bit of tear and tape there. I didn't actually stick the vellum on the other one, and I don't think I need to stick it on this one either. So let's just get an idea of how much I need to cut off. So there's fine. And just roll that over, stick it down, and then pop a bit of ribbon. Now, I want to actually make a cute vellum pouch for the hair scrunchie. So I'm thinking I might just make a vellum envelope. So those to one side. So there's my wee scrunchie. And tidy that up a bit. I've also got this to wrap, so I'm going to get my piece of vellum. So I want to figure out how much. I want to keep that flat actually. Let's squish it up together. So, as I said, I do want to make a little bit of a pouch for this. So I'm thinking there, and then I need a bit of a. So my square needs to be about that big. Right, so if it's about that big, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by, I think 7 by 7 should do it. Let me just see if 6 would do it. Might do. No, let's go with 7. I want this to be as flat as possible. So, now years ago we had the envelope punch maker, which was super useful, but because we don't have that currently, I'm going to show you how to do this by yourself. So I've cut 5 inches off. I didn't want to open my arm up, so I cut 5 inches, and of course 12 minus 5 is 7. So here we've got my little scrunchie. So I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm placing my vellum so that the corners, move those over for a sec. So the corners are on the line of my grid paper. You see that okay? Yep. And I've also then got the point right in the middle there as well, on the 0 and the 8 there in inches. And so this will just help me guide what I need to do. So I'm going to grab a ruler and I want it to be fairly equal, so I'll do 5. Okay. So basically about 2.5 inches from the middle, that will be that line there, and 2.5 inches from the top is there. So I'm going to fold my vellum Actually, no, I want it to be a bit further than that because I need to have it overlap. Haha, glad I realised that. Okay, so my vellum is basically, the point of there is reaching to 1/2 inch above that middle line. And I'm going to do the same with this section as well. So if you want to attempt to do this, you've got to make sure that the square is 7 inches. And you place it in the middle of your grid paper on the inches side of the grid paper. Put it right in the middle and then fold it so that it reaches, the point reaches just half an inch above the line. And rotate it if you want to. If you don't want to do it from the top. So there we go. Oops. Let's make sure that's in the middle. That will just help. So middle, middle, middle. Make sure all the points are on the middle lines. And then, I think that moved. Let's put that there. All right, there you go. So then all I need to do is cut off these little points here. So I'm just going inside the line, like so. And I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be fun to emboss this? But I don't think it's going to get into our embossing folders. If you've got one of those massive embossing folders with the big machine, then you could emboss these, but I haven't. Actually, potentially I could emboss it that way, but I think I run the risk of it splitting, so I'm not going to do that. All right. Anyway, that's what I wanted to achieve for my little hair scrunchie. And I'm going to grab one of those. Do I need to cut this? Oh, I think I'm going to leave that whole. It's fine. I've got plenty of strips to play with. So a little bit of tear and tape at the top there. So I definitely had kind of like maybe a teenage girl in mind for these sort of gifts. Everybody needs a hair scrunchie. If anyone's got a hair like longer than, you know, past their necks, a hair scrunchie is always a very useful gift. And I love getting floral or pretty hair scrunchies. So I couldn't resist this one when I saw it today. All right, I'm just opening up some of the twine because it can all be separated out. So how cute. Right, one more thing to wrap. Now, do I have any of the vellum left from earlier? I thought I did. So I had to emboss another panel because the bit that I had left over was a little bit too small to wrap around. So there you go. But that's okay. That was the piece that was left over from when I cut the square to make the pouch earlier. So I'm just going to wrap that around. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to use the remaining piece of floral. I think it looks kind of cute, so let's go for it. So I hope by watching me you've gained a few little ideas and tips for how to use your stamping supplies, your card making, scrapbooking supplies to decorate and wrap your gifts. And do let me know in the comments if you are going to be putting any of these to good use. So all the products that you've seen me use today can be purchased via my Stampin Up shop, the link of which is in the description below. And of course, if you'd like to see other ideas that I have, then please do subscribe. Now, I will try and find the other time I made one of these pouches and see if I can link it at the end of this video. So look out for that. Right, that's cute. That was really quick and easy to do. So now I'm going to put my little pieces in here. A little pouch. Move that one up a bit so I can get this one in. Or I may just stick my chocolate in here. Right, so I've already popped that in. It was a little tricky to get in because you have to be mindful of all the other sections that you've got there. Or wraps, rather. And then, oh yeah, actually that sits way better. So I'm going to put my little post-it note in there like that. Now, I was thinking what I could do with the leftover vellum is to wrap a pen. So I'm just going to grab any pen that I have here on my desk for now. Oh, there's a nice little a white one that goes. And I wanted to show you how quick it would be just to make a little pen pouch. So this piece of paper measures 4.5 inches wide. And I'm just folding that over using the natural kind of, it's doing it itself really because of the vellum. And I'm just going to give that a little trim because I can see it's starting to come apart a little bit. And I'm going to pop a bit of tear and tape. Now the reason that's coming apart is because that's the section that overlapped in the embossing folder. So don't be alarmed, it's just unfortunately vellum, because it's so brittle, can only take a certain amount of embossing. So there we go. And I thought that would make a really fun little kind of pen pouch like that. And if I just tape, I think I might just tape the ends there. And actually, you know what? I'll do that later. What I'll do though is just wrap that around. There's another little bit of decoration. So yeah, adding a pen I think to a little gift like this is really nice because you've got your little post-it notes there. It's always nice to get a new pen, isn't it? I've just got back from backstage, the Stampin' Up's leadership conference, and we got some new pens. So I was really happy. I love some new pens. Okay, so that can sit in there really beautifully. Now, if you did want to just pull the whole thing together by popping some ribbon around it, of course that's absolutely fine, and I will just demonstrate how I would do that. So I would put ribbon from top to bottom just to try and kind of like hold everything together. But the idea is that it does look really fabulously stuffed, because it is a stuffed envelope. So there you go. So hopefully nothing will fall out with that beautifully stuffed. And then I did want to add a cute maybe little tag or something using this paper. So I'm going to go ahead and back it with, I'm going to cut, oh actually I'm just going to stick that on top of there I think. Yeah, I'm going to do that and cut it off and come back. So I've stuck down the floral paper onto a bit of the basket, and we've got these lovely sort of trio of hole punches assortment it's called, and there's this one with the really cute kind of like strip there with a little circle, and I'm going to use that to make a hole at the top of my tag. And then I thought it would be nice to, actually I've got some of that really nice green ribbon as well. Maybe I should change it up with some of that. So I thought it would be nice to have that coming out the top, and then have that, oops, as a really nice bow tied around it. Well, now I've got to think how I'm going to attach it to my gift, but I will think about that in a second. Actually, over the years, I have picked up numerous little pegs, some Stampin' Up, some non, and yeah, I just kind of keep hold of them because they're just fabulous. So whenever Stampin' Up do come out with a product that you really like, I do advise you just grab it while you can, because you never know when you might use it. So this is the lovely green and gold ribbon that's currently available. Oh, that's lovely because it really picks up the green and the in the design there. Right, I'm going to go and find a peg. Right, so I did find this cute little one. I just attach it like so. No, that's not working. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Right, so there we go. That's the envelope pouch. Now, for a bit of a bonus extra, I'm going to make a little bag to put my candle in. So if you're still watching, well done. And I do also have a bit of this left over. So we could decorate my candle with a strip of that. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller though, because it's quite nice to be able to see the lid properly. So I'm going to cut that down too. I think it's important to have this to be removable because people may need to read what's, I don't know, the ingredients, I guess. Do the ingredients on here? Yeah, the ingredients are on there. Because some people don't tolerate artificial fragrances so well. So yeah, if you ever give a gift of a candle, make sure you still leave the ingredients. It's a bit like food, really. You know, if you're gifting food, and you just want to be aware of any allergies or intolerances people may have. So make sure that they can see what it is. I know it's, you know, it's nice to be able to break packs up and things like that, but just be aware of that and who it is that you're gifting things to. Okay, that looks cute. And yeah, I think one of those might look nice. Or should I go for the green? Because it's a little bit more festive, isn't it? Actually, no, I just don't like it. I'm going to go back to the beach. Right, so to make a box for a candle, there's just some measurements that you need to be aware of. And then a little bit of maths. Now, I know some of you do struggle when I do maths, but I will be doing the maths for you. So if it helps, if you've got your grid paper at the ready, you can use your grid paper to help you along. So first of all, you want to find out what the diameter of the item it is that you're making. So in this instance, if I pop this, I'll show you, I've got the corner of my grid paper here. So if I pop that so that it's just inside that bottom line, I can see that the diameter of this is 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to make a note of that. Okay, so my diameter is 2.5 inches. And also, obviously, the width of my box is going to have to be 2.5 inches. So I know that 2.5, I've got to take this measurement that I have here and times that by 4. So it's quite easy because I've got the inches along here. So I'm going to do a mark there. So that's 1, 2, then 3, then 4. So that takes me to 10 inches. And then I do want a little bit of a flap, so I can stick that down, and that takes me to 10.5 inches. So my piece of paper needs to be at least 10.5 inches wide. All right, so then I've got to allow for a little bit of an overlap across the bottom, otherwise my candle's going to fall out. So I need to take the measurement, the diameter measurement, which was 2.5, and have just over half of that as my bottom. Now, to be super duper safe, what I could do is actually have my bottom to be nearly the whole length of that. And if you want to do that, that's fine. And if you think you've got enough cardstock, that's great. So we will do that. Now, if you've got a little less cardstock and you can't afford, you know, but you haven't got enough to cover the whole bottom, then as long as you go at least half, you'll be fine. So in this case, 2.5, that'll be 1.25 inches. So there's the halfway mark. So I would start then my bottom at about 1.5 inches. But in this instance, I'm going to go for the full 2.5 inches. So this will be a score line across here. Then, because this is going to be the bottom of my box, this mark here, I need to look at my candle and figure out, okay, where is the top? So the top is approximately, sorry, I'm not looking at this. Okay, yep. So that takes me to 6 inches. So there's going to be a score along there. Now at this point, you may decide, oh, I fancy doing like a little bit of a milk carton. I don't want to do a box. So if you wanted to do a milk carton design, then you would be adding on, let's say maybe 1.5 inches to make it fold over. You want to, yeah, at least 1.5 inches. And then another little section. So that would take you to 8 inches. But I think in this situation, I just want to make a box. So I'm going to add on an additional 2.5 inches to this score line here. And that will take me to 8.5 inches, which is where I would cut my cardstock. Now, it just so happens that in the US, your cardstock actually measures 8.5 by 11. So that would be perfect for my 8.5 by 11 friends. In the UK, we'll just have to cut it a little bit. Actually, ours is 1/4, 8 1/4. So we're going to have to do something different. Okay, so going to grab a piece of, actually I might just grab a piece of DSP because I've got that spare. And I have the same DSP to use. So I could do the 8.5. So to start off with, now which way? I want it to look like a basket, so I'm going to do it that way. So to start off with, I'm going to score at 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to take it to 6 inches. Then I'm going to cut it at 8.5 inches. Then rotate and score at 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10, and then cut at 10.5 inches. So I believe this size candle, I think, is very similar to the little mini Yankee candles that you can get. This is like a faux, what do they call it? There's a word for it. What is that? It's like a modern word for something that's, is it a repro? Oh, I don't know. Someone will tell me in the comments section. What's the cool way to say something's a knockoff? Okay, so I'm folding all the lines, and then I'm going to just do a little bit of trimming. Okay, so so that's the section that's actually going to get stuck. But before we do that, we need to cut up the score lines. Actually, I'm just going to fold it. I found it easier just to fold and cut a tiny little slither off. And then we don't need that section there. And then fold and cut tiny little slither. Oh, I was still thinking about that word. I can't think what it is. A lot of these kind of supermarket brands, they will mimic the colours of a well-known brand. And even sometimes the scents, as in SCENTS. So there's, in Aldi, they mimic quite a well-known perfumer with their numbered scents. So if you go in there, like the number 1 smells like, and I'm not going to mention who it is. I don't know, give Aldi any more advertising. But obviously if you want the original, you need to go to the original. But yeah, they're I like their number 3 scent in Aldi. And I just use it as they do it as a hand wash. And it smells so good. I've had a couple of people who've been in my bathroom or my toilet, my downstairs toilet, saying, "Oh, the soap smells so nice." And I say, it's only Aldi. Okay, so there we've got the box. So we're going to put some tear and tape along that section there. Actually, it's got to be up to try and get it as close to the fold as possible, so that when it sticks, it's really neat. Okay, so all you need to do then for this is to fold that in half and lay that over the top. Give that a really good rub down. And then I'm going to just pop these like that, square it up. I'll just give that a little trim. So if you want it to be super strong, you could put more than 1 piece of tear and tape. I'm popping 1 there and then 1 like so. It's a bit wonky, but never mind. I have to say, it looks like a really designer box with this kind of wicker pattern on it. Looks great. Right, pop my candle in. There you have it. Now, I don't think I need to secure the top of that. I'm going to leave that as it is. And actually this time I might do my green ribbon. Oh, because it's kind of more goldy one side, this ribbon. It's called the Mossy Meadow and Gold trim. So there you go. Now, for those of you who are a bit bow tying averse, I'm going to give you a little lesson. So I like to have the bit attached to the ribbon on the left hand side, because I'm right-handed, and make sure that when you put the ribbon together like this, you take the one that's free and just loop it and think, oh yes, do I have enough? Okay, that just saves you tying it and then realizing that you didn't have enough. Right, so I take the right hand side and fold it over the left like so, and then take that under and through, and then if you pop your finger on it, pop a finger on it, it's quite helpful. Then take the left hand bow, and what I'm trying to do is keep it as flat as possible. So you see the gold is running through there, and then it's folded underneath, so I can see the green side now, and I'm going to loop it over and make a loop like so. And I'm making sure that this isn't twisted in any way. This is nice and flat. Now, this is a little tip. If I take that ribbon, this ribbon here, and fold and roll it over like so, it means that the middle section here is green, but then when I poke through the gold, this section here, I end up with 2 nice gold loops. Now the ribbon actually wants to do something different, okay? So let me just do that again. Oops. So the ribbon actually generally wants to do this, where the gold goes over it, but I deliberately kind of like twist it so the green does that, so that I end up with my 2 gold loops. Now at this point you got an ugly ribbon. It's okay, it's not shushed, it's not frou-froued, it hasn't been played with, so you just don't worry about that. The most important thing at this point is to get your fingers into the loops, and I see how that ribbon is already twisted because it's desperate to do that. Let's just do that. Right. You get 2 fingers into the loops and you give it a really big tug. Okay, really tight tug. You see how that's tightened up really well in the middle. Then at that point, you pull your ribbon, not pull it out fast, you pull it slowly so that it makes the size bow that you want it to be. And if you need to play again and pull the bow out, again, stick your fingers in there. The reason I say that is because it's very tempting to grasp the bow. I'm just going to demonstrate, I'm not going to do it, but it's very tempting to grasp the bow and pull out like that. Now, the danger of doing that is that you end up with a crease in the end of your bow. So it loses the lovely flow and make the roundness of it. So whenever you pull out, get your fingers in there and do that. And again, I'm just going to give a little play to this. Oh, it's wanting to twist. Don't do that. Okay, there we go. And when you're happy with your bow, then you can snip off the excess. Oops. Oh my goodness, my scissors getting stuck to my tape there. All right, there we go. Now you can sometimes give it a little bit of help by doing that to make it curl, just to get it to do it nicely. If you wanted to add any extra, like a label or whatever, go for it. But there we go. The main point of this was to show you how to make a box using an object that you needed to measure out. Now, as you can see, that's pretty much used the width of a piece of cardstock and nearly the width of the DSP. So you can't really make anything bigger than that unless you use 2 pieces of paper. But there you have it. So Stampin' Sunday blog hop, November 2025. It was all about the gifts, and I've made a lovely gift envelope pouch and a box for a candle. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. As I said, please do go and have a look at all the other hoppers because they will make the most delectable things. There are some fabulous artists on this team, and I'm sure you'll enjoy. Take care for now. Thank you for joining me. Bye.